When I don't know what my goal is, how is it possible, or how can I enjoy the journey? This is a very scientific question, and when I first read about this several years ago, many years ago, I was stunned how many of us realize that all scientific formulas, all scientific inventions, they start with assumption. And there are so many assumptions. When I first read this from one of the books by neophysicists rather, I was stunned. And then I keep reading. I'm not really so much interested in physics and in those textbooks, but I start rereading, and you'll be surprised that all scientific inventions are based on assumptions. All these great scientists, they already have something in their mind, and then they try to prove this. It was the same with Albert Einstein. Unfortunately, we don't have much record about Newton's life, because this is very interesting. To understand a scientist and his or her invention, formulas, it is important to understand their life, to read their biography. Not much is known. There are books, but not much is known exactly. But now, with internet and all that, we know more or less the life of Einstein. It's fully recorded, and Stephen Hawking, of course. There is a apparent difference. You can, if you look offset at the outside, you can see the difference between the law of general relativity and the theory of quantum mechanics. Outside, everything seems to be orderly. The orbits, the planets, everything seems to be so orderly. But at the molecular level, everything is chaotic. And until the last minute, Albert Einstein was trying to reconcile these both theories. His general theory of relativity and the theory of quantum mechanics, which was already being discussed when he was alive. And he was so sure that he will find out one day one formula that can reconcile these both laws. And I'm sure one day we'll find it. The ancient rishis, they knew about this. And they assume that there is a destination. This is the assumption. We assume that the world is not flat. The planet is not flat. Some people are still assuming that the world is flat. They don't believe that the world is globe. For them, the world is flat. So these are assumptions. So the scientists of the soul in the olden days, they assume by understanding, by studying a large sample of people, they interviewed everybody, and they asked everybody, their students, their masters, what is it that you want to achieve in your life? And somebody would say, let me put it in a modern term, somebody would say, I want to have more cattle so I can become rich. In those days, you are rich because of the number of cattle that you have. Sometimes it is the number of camels, sometimes it is the number of goats, sheep. Now maybe it is to have few houses, to have few more cars, to have new gadgets, So he would keep, or she, the teacher, would keep asking, this scientist of soul would keep asking, what can make you happy? Oh, I want to get married, I want to have a good relationship. And then after that what? After that what? Keep on asking, after that what? At the end of the day, they would find out that actually it is not the gadget that we want, it is not the new car that we want, It is not a new relationship we want. Basically, we want to be happy. We want to experience happiness. But we think by having a new gadget, I'll be happy. We think that by having a good relationship with someone, we'll be happy. We think if I have a child, we'll be happy. We think, we assume. But beyond those assumptions, behind all those assumptions, actually what we want is happiness. So they reach at that point where they could declare that the final destination of everyone is Anand, is happiness. But Anand is not ordinary happiness. Anand is not the kind of happiness that you get from material comforts. You can have a new bed, you can have a new house. All those things can give you pleasure, but not Anand. There are so many different words in Sanskrit. There are momentary pleasures, temporary pleasures. There are so many different types of happiness that you can get from different objects. When you eat good food, you drink, all those are happiness also, but they are not long lasting. Whereas what we actually want is a long lasting happiness. But unfortunately, we cannot understand, or we rather do not want to understand, that what I want is a permanent happiness, and I am looking for this permanent happiness from impermanent things. I am looking for permanent happiness from impermanent bed. What I need actually is a good sleep. I don't need a good bed. I need a good sleep. But we think that this bed, if I buy this bed, which is costing $2,000, $3,000, I will have a nice sleep. It may or may not happen. So we are looking for permanent happiness from impermanent things. Permanent happiness from impermanent relationship. We want our partner to be the same all the way. It does not happen because people are changing. People are changing. When you were in love, your partner was having a different mental setup. You were having a different mental setup. And there is no way for you or your partner to continue with this kind of mental setup unless you are very, very dumb. We are all growing. Either you put a stop to your growth, no, I don't want to grow, I stop at this, and I tell my partner, you stop at that also, stop growing, then perhaps, but it does not happen. My master would always remind us all, can you imagine you are in a very crowded street? It can happen in India or maybe in Manhattan, but Manhattan also is not that crowded. It can happen in India. When you go to a crowded place, very crowded, now Kumbh Mela, 15 million people are there to take a dip in the Ganges. Now, can you imagine 15 million people? It does not get kind of publicity that it should get. This is the largest gathering of people. 15 million people are there for a month, almost a month, just to take a dip in the Ganges. I have never been there, but I can imagine. I have been to a place, in my own master's place, there was a time when there were not many facilities, and at one point there were 500,000 people in a small village. The capacity of that village was only for 5,000 people, less than 5,000 people. And the permanent resident of that village were only 200 families, maybe less than that. All of a sudden there were 500,000 people. And so at the last minute, they had to move all the programs to the outskirts of the village. He lived in a small village. That village has become a city now. But At that point in 1975, they moved the whole program, which was supposed to be in a hall, big hall, that can fit 10,000 people, but 10,000 people and 500,000 people are no match. So they had to move a lot of things outside the village. And we were supposed to walk for about 2 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers from the place where we lived to the place where we were having programs, schools, blah, blah, blah. And then he reminded us, he said, you see now this is life. You literally don't have to walk. You just stand still. Somebody will be pushing you. Can you imagine? So many people, they won't let you stand there. They will not let you stand there. So many people, you try to stand in one place, you get kicked, you get pushed. This is life. This is life. You don't want to change. The entire existence is pushing you to change. It's pushing you to change. I can look back to those days when we were writing in hand, we were writing with typewriter, and we would have tip X to delete things, and then you have to wait for a while so that is dried out, and then you start typing again, and then computer with DOS to open the computer, operate the computer. Now, in those days, if you want to the first generation of videotapes from Grundig and all those German makers, 1 hour will be such a thick, like a Bible. The size of the cassette cartridge would be like a Bible. And so if you have an Indian movie, 3 cartridges. It's like carrying 3 Bibles for one movie. For one movie. Now, one flash disk can have hundreds of movies. So we have changed. We have changed. You cannot say, no, I don't want to change. I want to go back to the cartridge time. People will be pushing you. I was surprised in the United States when I went to a store there. I could still see VHS and so many different types, still available. This was about 10 years back. I don't know now. But here, if you are having a VHS player, just put it in the museum because there's nobody to fix it. If it gets broken, nobody is there to fix it. So they are pushing us to change. You want to continue with your VHS recorder player, there is no way you can. It breaks, especially here in Indonesia. You have those, remember those VCD player? Not DVD, VCD. Now totally gone. I have hundreds of VCDs, I don't know how to play them. And if I put all my VCDs and all my VHS in the museum is taken over by them. So this is the situation. People keep changing. And the scientists of the soul, the rishis, they said actually behind all those changes, beyond all those things, what you want is actually permanent happiness, undisturbed happiness, Anand. And how to find that? How do you find that? Is there something impermanent in your being? Is there something permanent in your being? That you are looking for something permanent? And they said yes, because energy does not die. This was found out thousands of years before Albert Einstein discovered it. They said there is something, energy does not die, it just changes form. So when I die, when you die, the body is dead, but people will be declaring us dead. The body is not moving, the body is there, the body is there. But people will declare us dead because we are not there. So who are you? Who are you? What are you? Are you energy? And if you are energy, this body is not moving anymore. Something has gone out from this body. Where is that? And so then they started to find out. They started to find out, and they come to conclusion that there is something called Atma, the universal life force, which is in you, within me, within each one of us. This one does not die. This one remains even after the body is declared as dead. Because there is something permanent within you, within me, within each one of us, so we are looking for something permanent. So what is the way? What is the way? How to find out? How to find out that? And then they said the next step is meditation. Go within, inner journey. Go within and find out first, who are you? Once you find out who are you, who you actually are, then immediately you find out also that actually Anand or bliss or permanent happiness is your very nature. So, because we don't unleash this Anand within ourselves, we are trying to find this outside. Once you find your true self, you find out, you realize that what I am looking for is within me. There's a beautiful story. There's a beautiful story that there was the light of humanity, the light of divinity. And this light of divinity was being hijacked by the demons. The demons do not like this light of divinity, the light of humanity. Can you imagine there is a candle, and this candle is the candle of humanity, candle of divinity. So many people would try to blow this candle off. They don't like humanity. They don't like divinity. And then finally a small child, he says, this light, if it is off, if it is blown, there will be no divinity, no humanity left in this entire world, entire universe. So hide this light within human beings themselves. Hide this light. We all have this light hidden within us. If you are not interested in this light, you can use the outside light. Once you get interested to this light, then you are definite. It is certain that you can find this light within you. So the goal is within you. The goal is yourself. And that you are the very embodiment of Anand. You are the very embodiment of the supreme bliss. And that's why we keep the name of this ashram, Anand Ashram. There is a message behind this. The message is, your search is over. No more searching. Now, explore it. Keep on digging. We have become professional searchers. We look for things outside. We collect so many certificates. I have done 200 hours of yoga, I have done 500 hours, I have got 1000 hours of yoga. No. Stop all that thing. Now try to find yoga within you. Try to find that light within you. So yes, that comes to the second question. Do you have any goal that you want to achieve? Yes. We are all, not me alone, not me myself alone, but all of us are trying to achieve, to reach this state of Ananda. And how do I know that my spiritual journey is heading to the right direction? If today you are more happier than yesterday, then you are in the right direction. But happier is not comfort. It is a true happiness. And only you will know, in spite of all the problems, in spite of everything that is going around you, you still keep your head cool and you face everything. That is the sign of happiness. And that brings us to a question here. What is sanity? This is sanity. Outside there is rain. After some time the temperature may rise and we may feel hot. Now we are feeling okay. All these natural phenomena, they are there. Heat and cold, good moments and bad moments, good relationship and bad relationship, good times, bad times, all these will be there. It's not that once you meditate, once you become a yogi, a yoga practitioner, everything is going to be all right. No. But you'll be able to pass through all these different experiences with a cool head. That is to keep your sanity. All these questions are interrelated. You have to keep your sanity, and not only you have to keep, actually, once you already get this experience of Anand, you will not be not able to keep your sanity. But there is a big but. Once you keep your sanity, the people around you will consider you insane. So if people around you consider you sane, you are not sane as yet. You are just part of the mob, part of the crowd. When people around you start considering you insane, then you are actually sane. So there is something that you have to face also as a consequence. We are living. I'm reminded of a story my master used to say. A person who is insane in the mental hospital, if you can talk to them, if you sit with them, you talk to them, they think we are insane. I've been telling these stories over and over, and I can never get enough from repeating it. The beautiful experience that I went through. We used to go to a mental hospital every month to serve the patients who are kind of underprivileged, bring them some food, bring them some clothes and all that. So I used to go to this hospital in Jakarta once a month. And one day I was with someone, I was clean shaven. This friend of mine, he had a French beard. So, and he resembled Jesus, When he's walking, he resembled Jesus. So we went to this mental hospital. There was a lady, insane, of course, inmate, and she started singing songs from the church in Indonesian. One of the songs, I still remember the song, that Jesus never changes. Tuhan Yesus tidak berubah. Right? That song is there. So this lady is singing songs, and this song, she keeps repeating, Tuhan Yesus tidak berubah. Lord Jesus never changes. Is there any such song in English? I don't know. Is there, Tere? No? You don't know? Okay. Be a good Catholic, you must know. So, she is singing, and then she comes to my friend, and she is following my friend, said, you are Jesus. So my friend is, of course, he didn't say anything, but I could see he was feeling happy. First he was blushing, then he was feeling happy, Jesus. And she keeps singing wherever he goes, from word to word, one word, another word, she would follow, and she would sing, Tuhan Yesus tidak pernah berubah, Lord Jesus never changes, and you are my Jesus. And then all of a sudden she comes in front of my friend, and she stands still like that, stands still like a statue. And then she started slapping my friend. He said, Jesus, where have you been? I've been calling you. And you have come after such a long time. You don't hear my my cries and my yells. So, for the insane, we are insane. We are insane. We think they are insane. You know, my master used to say, if you are facing someone who is behind the bars, it depends on how you look at it. For the person behind the bar, actually you are behind the bar. There are bars. For the person behind the bar, you are behind the bar. For us outside the bar, they are behind the bars. So there is different perceptions. Yes, you keep your sanity rather by considering the heat and cold and all experiences of duality as one.